Welcome into Game Night Live's coverage of Region 4 soccer, coming to you live from Lone Peak High School as the Lone Peak Knights prepare to host the Pleasant Grove Vikings. Thank you for joining us, everyone. My name is Dane Stewart. A big matchup in RPI as well as in Region 4 coming to you live tonight as Pleasant Grove coming into the contest. They're wearing their white kits here on the road. 8-4 overall, 3-2 in region play, coming off a 1-0 win over Westlake. And coming in, this team, they've got some injuries. They've been trying to battle through. Coach Ecolono getting this group kind of focused for the back half of region play. It was kind of a tough start, a disappointing loss against Westlake to kick off the region slate, a loss to Corner Canyon. Really the worst loss in region play for PG this year to the Chargers. They've got a rematch with Corner coming up in a week. I know that's one that they certainly have interest in, but since that 4-0 win over American Fork, the 1-0 revenge win over Westlake, and a chance here. They beat Lone Peak 1-0 earlier in the year. It was Clayton Ecolono with the game winner, the only goal in that match. He is available, not planning on playing tonight. If they can get by without him, he's trying to get healthy. But this PG team, they've got a lot of pieces. As Coach Ecolono has done such a great job with this program. Is a nice poke away there defensively by the Vikings. That was Pennock defensively for PG. Meanwhile, for Lone Peak, we saw this team a week ago right here playing Skyridge. That was a pivotal match for those two programs, trying to hang around for outside chance of the region championship still. And Lone Peak was dominative, had two early goals in that one in the first 11 minutes. Ended up with a second half goal to help defeat Skyridge 3-1. They had that big matchup with Corner. They lost to Corner Canyon 0-1, set them 3 games back from first place, 9 points out of first, but they are in a two-way tie with PG here. It's why this game for PG so critical. They have a game in hand, a makeup game against Skyridge still. As Pleasant Grove here with the possession, trying to get it to the offensive thirds. That ball pushed aside, and a whistle here going to bring it back. We'll have a free kick here for the Vikings. This is just outside the box. But for this Lone Peak squad, that loss to Corner probably does them in for a region championship. But we talk about how big this matchup is for RPI. These two teams, PG, the number 8 seed, Lone Peak, the number 9 seed. If the tournament we're in today, these two could be playing rather early in the state playoffs. And so a big RPI implications here for these two units is PG here with the early free kick. And this being about 22 yards out for the Vikings as Oberhansley, he will not take it. That deflected and just wide on the on the kick taken by John Fritcher. It was hard to tell if it was going to be Fritcher over Hansley. It was Fritcher that took it, and that was deflected wide off of Lone Peak. So we'll head to the corner here with the Vikings. Starting keep today for Lone Peak, Connor Watkins, the junior, started last week against Skyridge as well. As corner opportunity here for Fritcher and company. Meanwhile, starting keep today for Pleasant Grove will be Taylor Price. This ball backside over the head of Brody Pearson as it sails through, and Lone Peak here will have the kick opportunity coming up. Talking about Taylor Price, he had the shutout in the first matchup between these two. He's had a nice year this year for Coach Ecolono. Fritcher, the leading goal scorer for the Vikings. We talked about Clayton Ecolono not being on the field today for the Vikings. He's their second leading goal scorer, so they are missing him. As that pass deflected. This Lone Peak team, they've got some really good talent. Lewis Mason, who had it there, played it up, just a young sophomore. Boy, he had some really nice crosses and sets for Lone Peak in that win over Skyridge. As this ball sent ahead, a little off target there. It's Pennock off target after the deflection, I should say. As Lone Peak here dropping this back to their back line. Spencer Brown One of the seniors, they tried to work this up to him. He was trying to make a burst along that line. Couldn't get it as Lone Peak pushing this back with Connor Jackson, a senior center back. Helps anchor that line. He had to come off due to a card against Skyridge, and it was the only goal they conceded was when he was off the field after that play. As this ball sent wide, headed out by Lone Peak, and Pleasant Grove here will have the throw in. Talk about for PG, they have Skyridge later this week. Talk about that Corner Canyon game coming up a week from today. They'll close out the year with 3 road games, Corner Canyon, AF, and Skyridge. They need some help from the rest of the region against the Chargers, but getting a win over Corner next week would certainly help. And then there's just help from one other team they would need. As this ball sent wide here for the Knights, that couldn't be controlled as it rolls out off of Lone Peak, and PG here will have the throw in. Lone Peak team so good at possessing the ball. We saw that last week against Skyridge. Is that out? Last touched by PG. Yeah, there was some confusion there. The indication was given for Lone Peak, and now the Knights will put it back in play. There's a bit of a wind here at Lone Peak. Winds can't be any stronger than, 25, 30 miles an hour. Blowing right to left on your screen. Apps say it's an 11-mile-an-hour wind. If that's the case, Utah drivers drive 45 on the interstate. It's pretty strong. This ball sent ahead. Lone Peak with an opportunity. Shot and wide of the post on the opportunity there for the Knights. Good look. I love the quick burst there for Lone Peak. We talk about their ability to score and to take advantage of opportunities quickly and early. And a really second great look of the game. The first for Lone Peak, sailed wide. Is you get a picture of that wind right there. I mean, that's out of the air, 65 yards. And as good as Taylor Price is, it helps when you've got a tailwind. Here's Lone Peak working up through the middle. That's kind of single man doing the damage now, working through his teammates. Is Xanthos playing this ahead? Xanthos trying to get there in the middle, broken up there defensively by the Vikings. Nice play there by Jacob Stegel. Xanthos had the early goal for Lone Peak a week ago. Just a junior. We talk about some of the youth on this team, and he's one of them. Lone Peak controlling this. Will be interesting if Lone Peak can get out of this first half without conceding with that wind at their back. And then does that wind hold for the second half? Always a question with some of these later games as you see Price come all the way out. Another rocket from Price heading down, and that's going to sail through. Unplayable, and it will be a kick here from the box for the Knights. You see the clock on your screen? That is unofficial time. We do our best to keep that synchronized with the clock, official clock, here on the scoreboard in the stadium. Sometimes you'll see us start early, start late. That's largely to try to true it up. As PG gets the turnover here, here's Memo. We've got a player down. Is that Fritcher maybe? For Pleasant Grove, as we'll have got a whistle here on the far line, but first they got to come out and have a look at the player. As we do have a clock being stopped here. It is Fritcher. John being helped off, trying to walk that one off. So right now on the field, top 2 goal scorers for PG on the sideline. Throw in here for the Knights. Here comes Lone Peak, the sophomore Mason, trying to get that ahead. That ball deflected out of the air. Sent up is Hadley trying to get there for PG. That's a valiant effort to get there by Jackson and play that back with his keep, as Watkins has very little choice but to play that ball out. And you see that even get caught up in the wind. It'll be a short field and a throw in here for Pleasant Grove. Love coming to Lone Peak. We do have some help with the weather here. The clouds are there, very little glare. That's always a bonus. But the wind tonight is no joke. The uprights on that south end zone are kind of pushed back. It's a strong burst as that one trying to be headed up by Hadley on frame and gathered there cleanly by Connor Watkins. Was looking up the line there for Brown. They couldn't connect. Pleasant Grove here with another throw in to come. Of course, always want to thank Lone Peak for having us. Great hosts. Coach Mason, first year here with Lone Peak Soccer. Nice play there by Yagi. Still trying to keep possession of that and somehow worked it up to Xanthos. Xanthos there trying to body Fritcher, who's found his way back on the pitch. As ball there played out by right. Lone Peak here will throw in. Mason trying to send up the line, and Pearson deflects it out. Through the middle, that pass was a little off target, intended for Kramer. Hadley pushing wide. And that lost out. Lone Peak here with the throw in, trying to be opportunistic. Good challenge there by Pennock, headed up by Xanthos. This ball still in the air. Looking back up here for Brown. He's unable to get there. PG played that back to the middle, and it was right where there were no Knights around. PG here controlling in the midfield with Memo. Over Hansley. Plays that wide. Centering attempt, and off the bounce gathered by Watkins. He'll roll it out near side. They were trying to get Hadley on a nice run through the box there. Carlton chipping that back. Watkins here. We'll play far side as Lone Peak. Again, I think given the circumstance, I'll probably try to play this ball on the ground through the middle rather than through the air. Is a challenge there, won by the Knights. Yagi here trying to be patient with it. Looking up that far line. This ball kind of trading. Boy, a bit of a tug there. And yeah, there's the whistle. I actually have to apologize because I've said Pennock a couple times tonight, but anchoring that back line, the center back's actually number 36. So I'll have to track that down and try to see who that is for Pleasant Grove, because Pennock is 39 and I don't have a 36 on the roster. So we'll do our best to get that sorted out for you. Here's Brown. Plays back up with Xanthos. That Pleasant Grove defense able to take away the opportunity, but Lone Peak here still on the possession. There's the clear. Out of play. PG will throw in. Up the line here. Taking a bounce, trickling down. In our 15th minute, still no score here. PG, Lone Peak. One of the great rivalries in Region 4, regardless of the sport. Some of the all-time classic basketball games. Been a great baseball matchup. And today, important one here in Region 4 soccer. Is that played out? Last touch there by Lone Peak. And we've got substitution here for the Vikings as Jeremy Carrera going to come on. Bashan here running around, so I don't think he'll be a substitution. He will not be, just Carrera coming on here. As that throw in, unable to be connected. This ball sent well wide off the foot of Yagi. Out of the air, kept here, kept by PG. A roller, able to be gathered by Watkins. They try to work this up here. Good contest there by Oberhansley, but couldn't keep it. Oh, I say Lone Peak touched that. Wow, I thought that was out off of PG. Instead, the Vikings here with the throw-in. Looking for Fritcher. Lone Peak able to win it. Nice job there by Xanthos. He's looking up the line. Touched by Brown to keep it in play. Brown on a bit of a run. Has help in the middle. Centering a pass there. PG collapsing down. Xanthos waiting for it. And Carrera was able to come back as on the challenge there. Last touched by Lone Peak. We'll get a substitution here for Pleasant Grove. Zarin Lucas coming on here for the Vikings. Lone Peak. This one dropped here with Kramer. Plays over. That shot, I think, deflected and gathered there by Price. I'd given up. Xanthos was trying to shield that. Couldn't connect. That pass taken away by Carrere. PG staying strong with it. Played over with Memo. Lone Peak defense all over this is the bouncer. Gathered by Watkins. Approaching the midway point here in this first half. Lone Peak trying to sneak a ball ahead. No luck. Xanthos playing that back here with Carlton. Back with no, oh, nice touch. Lone Peak still with it here as Mason dropping it. Time here for Kramer. Tom looking up. That ball played beautifully for Xanthos. Trying to work it to Brown, and that ricocheting between the wickets. Losing it, and PG able to get the clear. This dropped back here. Boy, man on pressure there, and this one lost out. You see the frustration. Watkins not very pleased. As again, a deep throw in here for Pleasant Grove. We did get a little out of sync with the clock, so we're just going to pause ours. We're going to let the game clock catch up. It is running. There's about 19:45 left in this first half on the game clock here. Nice play there by the sophomore Mason. PG trying to stay strong on it. They're whistled here for the infraction. It'll be a kick here for the Knights. There's our clock back in sync. In play from Jackson. Taken away immediately by Stegel. Looking up here for Lucas. And Lone Peak able to win that ball back. Knights playing ahead. On a bit of a surge here. On coming out to gather was Taylor Price. Another opportunity for Lone Peak where they tried to get that far side forward on a run, and that time just an aggressive play by the keeper, Taylor Price. They were trying to dial one up there for Brown. That center back ready for Pleasant Grove. It's coming back here with Watkins. Boy, Fritcher was banking on that ball being misplayed, but that is not something that occurs frequently with Lone Peak. Talking about possession, very sure with the ball as PG trying to get a ball ahead for Fritcher, headed out. That was just a yard in front of Xanthos, but Tom able to get back on it. Here comes Brown, and that one deflected as again Price coming out to try to play it high to the box and just able to get enough to take away what would have been a pretty open net there for Brown. We'll head to the corner here with the Knights. We've seen Lone Peak try to attack with some of those long runs here in this first half, and a good opportunity here for the Knights from the corner. This was where Mason really shined. That one punched out, loose ball, and Price able to gather it. Taylor Price had to make a couple nice plays here early. been up to the task. And now you see Watkins, boy, and he over-pursued that a little bit. Help trying to get back for the defenses. Carrere misses on an open look, and that Lone Peak defense now working to take care of it as Watkins here will just set it up. Well, that's one where if you're Carrere and you know you've got a great opportunity and just get sped up a little bit, unable to strike it cleanly and squarely. And Lone Peak able to avoid conceding the first as this one deflected in the air here. Headed out by Mason. Here's Xanthos. Trying to work up a wing there, played out by Stegel. Now we got a stoppage of substitutions here for Lone Peak. Ryan Paskett coming on, as does Luke Lenoff. As we're in our 25th minute of play. Lovelady getting a break, Mason getting a break as well for the Knights. Sent ahead, just a step in front of Fritcher. Yagi keeping that with Kramer. Carrere trying to come up to pressure. And here's Paskett, fresh legs, playing the ball ahead. Brown still has it. Nice setup. Shot and caught off the bounce there by Price. Watkins, my apologies. We'll roll this out to the back line. Lone Peak trying to work it up. Xanthos has been active today as he goes down and going to be whistled here on the challenge. Xanthos here trying to get back to his feet. Remember, he had to leave that earlier game. Well, the game last week against Skyridge, he left with an injury. He's hobbling here. It has been an item that he's trying to work through some injury last year and this year trying to stay healthy, and he's going to come off here as Isaac Price will come on for Lone Peak. Knights putting this in play. That ball broken up by Hadley. Challenge there in the middle. Play on. Here's Lucas. Working with Fritcher. Fritcher trying to turn in the box and defended well there by Jackson. As he plays this wide, it'll be a throw in here for PG. Substitution for the Vikings. Couple gonna come on here. As I think it's Brody Pearson. Yes, Pearson is one. The other substitution for PG looks to be Gavin Fosvik. Thrown in for Hadley. Here's over Hansley, dropping it. Played right back. Pearson looking to center, and that broken up. Playing back in, and good idea there by Fritcher. Was able to get a foot on it, but couldn't get it on frame as it's played wide. Carlton. Peak, you see, just trying to, again, methodically keep that ball low, work into this wind. That pass broken up, but able to stay with it there. And Lone Peak has it. Here's Price playing ahead. And that broken up as could not get it back to Isaac. Thrown in, Fritcher. That broken up in the midfield. Fritcher giving with Oberhansley. As we're in our 30th minute, this ball played up and out. Up the line, that headed back to center. That last touched by Lone Peak. Up the line for Hadley. Lone Peak able to stay on it. That between a pair of Knights. Lone Peak able to win that back, but they give it up. Fritcher has help wide, pushes it. Nice step towards the middle, and we're going to get a whistle and a penalty shot coming up here. You knew that was danger. It was an athletic play made to bring that back into the box by Matt Hadley, and the collapse coming down from top side. You knew that was going to be trouble. The foul occurring in the box. We'll head to the spot here, and Linhoff here booked on the challenge. So an opportunity for PG. Penalty shot coming up. And it looks to be John Fritcher, the sophomore, to step up and take it for the Vikings. Fritcher, an opportunity to break through here for PG. John Fritcher, and the goal, 1-0. Pleasant Grove off the penalty kick from Fritcher. Fritcher able to capitalize for the Vikings. And they've got the first goal of the match. Talked about the first matchup between these two was also 1-0. Pleasant Grove winning that one on the goal by Ekolono. Not on the field today for PG. This ball sent ahead, and Price able to come out and gather it. Another trying to dial up one of those long runs, and boy, that one was close as well. And Taylor Price has had to make a couple of snap decisions about coming up high in the box to try to take away opportunities for Lone Peak, and he's been perfect with those decisions here early. As here's Brown. Spencer trying to come back to the middle. That poked out defensively by Spencer Wright for Pleasant Grove. Lone Peak here with the throw in. And that last touched by Lone Peak along the line as it just bounces out. Good challenge. That won by the Knights. Isaac tripped up, and now Lone Peak will have an opportunity to head to the spot, as it was Isaac Price with a beautiful challenge and then stayed right on it. And now the card coming here to PG is, it looks like, I think it's Spencer Wright going to be booked here. So Lone Peak, a chance for a quick response here after conceding the PK just a minute ago. They'll have a chance here in the 33rd to try to tie it. And it's in the back of the net. The PK capitalized on by Lone Peak. As I don't want to say casual. No PK is casual, but Tom Kramer just steps up like he's done that a million times. And a kick right along the grass. Again, not threatening with that wind. Price guesses wrong, and we're tied up at 1 apiece. So each side 1 for 1 from the spot. As a throw in here for Pleasant Grove. Again, that was Isaac Price who drew that one for Lone Peak. From the corner. And Lone Peak here, they're saying it should be a throw-in. It is ruled a corner. Backside, headed to the middle. Couldn't get the clear. Oh, and off the crossbar. Boy, a good look there for Liam Oberhansley, the junior. Uncorked one, looking to go to the corner post and just misses it high. PG back on it. Fritcher shot deflected by Watkins. That was one that was looking like it was curling back in, and the junior keep Connor Watkins had to make a diving play. We'll head to the other side in the corner for PG. Fritcher. From the corner, this curling in punched out. We'll do it again. Brody Pearson will trot over near side. And Fritcher heading it up. And that touched wide. Maybe by Paskett. As Lone Peak here. Showing some patience in our 35th. Captured by Carlton. Was looking to play that back and looked like he kind of lost it as Hadley able to come up quickly. No call there, as like both sides kind of petitioning this challenge by Fosvik. Here's Gavin working through traffic, playing ahead with Carrere, and he'll keep that in play. No, he will not. Well, he did, but then it was played out by Lone Peak. My apologies. Throw in here for PG. Pearson. To Hadley. Playing over Hansley. Pushing wide. Back to Liam. Trying to work through Memo. Memo trying to get back on that. Could not. Fritcher finding it. Gives it. Shot. Oh, back of the net. How about that goal? Beautiful strike from Cole Memo. And PG retakes the lead here 2-1. Boy, beautiful strike from about 20 yards out. Top corner. And according to Stats Report, that might be Memo's first goal of the year. We try to go off of max preps. We recognize not everything gets posted there, but I don't know that I saw a goal for him in our prep prior to the game. PG winning this in the middle. Again, they've had the wind at their back as that continues to howl. No whistle there. As can Lone Peak get a late opportunity? The Knights trying to push this ahead. Reinforcements coming. Centering. Played wide. Working through traffic as that ball cleared away by Memo. Jackson playing up here with Carlton. Noah to Brown. Spencer working back. Carlton able to keep that off the deflection. Lone Peak still with it. Playing over. Yagi in the box, working through traffic, trying to center backside, and that was just a step in front of his teammate as that will trickle through. And PG here will throw in. Boy, good work there by Sam Yagi. Just misses the opportunity as he trots back for this Lone Peak. Thrown in here with Hadley. Great support coming back there as Lone Peak winning it. Ball pushed wide. Paskett thought there was contact there. Won't get help from our center. PG with another throw in here. So we approach our through 38 minutes on the scoreboard. Our clock just a couple seconds slow from official time here. Just for your reference, off by about 5 seconds. Played ahead, trying to center on the roll, and that just missed. Boy, Fritcher was in the box, as was Carrere, and Lone Peak able to get a touch on it to not allow that through, and we'll have another corner here for the Vikings. It'll be Carrere to put this in play. That finding its way through was actually deflected by Lone Peak, and Watkins, they're able to gather. As you see that, boy, that ball just hanging in the wind. 39 minutes complete. Final minute here of this first half. Trying to work through traffic. That taken away by Memo. Lone Peak giving one up. PG, can they add on a third here with the wind at their back? Center to Carrere, and the challenge there coming from that Lone Peak defense. Is Carrere unable to get a good look? Final 30 seconds of play. Lone Peak with it. Price playing ahead. Patience there by Paskett. Paskett went back to the wing, but that was left. Final 10 seconds of the half. Up the wing, no one there. Lone Peak will be able to just let this clock trickle down. First half, 2-1 each side with a penalty kick, but the difference is the 20-yard strike coming from Cole Memo, the senior for PG, as they have the 2-1 lead over Lone Peak at the half. You're watching Game Night Live Rewind's Game of the Week, presented by Heidemann Associates and brought to you by the Riley Jensen Mental Performance Group.
College wasn't built for me.
I didn't care if I had to work a double shift.
Or if my kid had a fever.
Deadline's a deadline.
I want to set the deadlines.
I want to take tests when I'm ready.
I want to take courses on my time.
And speed up when I know my stuff.
I want a university that cares about me.
Tests on your time, courses on your time, graduate on your time. WGU, the nonprofit university of you.
Jake said these are awesome for studying.
Line. You shouldn't ever take someone else's medication.
Know your script. Talk to your kids about the dangers of sharing prescriptions.
Welcome back. Start of the second half. And Game Night Live Rewind's game of the week. 2-1. PG leading Lone Peak at the break. Each side had a penalty kick. Fritcher scoring for PG. Kramer scoring for Lone Peak. And then a goal in the 37th coming from Memo. That's the difference in this battle between top 10 teams here in 6A. We talked about the number 8, number 9 ranked teams in the RPI coming into the action tonight. And right now, number 8 leading number 9. We switch ends of the field. And so now the Wind at the back of Lone Peak. We wondered, typically as the evening progresses, wind tends to die down here, but it is still strong here at Knight Stadium. And we'll see if Lone Peak can use that to their advantage. They had to defend against it in the first half. Did a pretty good job. I know they conceded the 2. The one off of the foul in the box lends to the PK. The other one's just a beautiful strike, and it really wasn't even set up by the Wind. Good passing play to set up the attempt from Memo, and now PG's going to have to play into that Wind, and we'll see if they're able to adjust offensively. And, you know, even playing into the Wind, Lone Peak was still looking to dial up some of those long runs and had some opportunities that came, and just the timing behind it just off by a half yard, a yard here or there. And now with the Wind, can they leverage that with some of their spacing and try to dial that up a little more often or to more success? As this ball put in play, kept on the ground here for the Knights as this drop back with Kramer. Kramer playing through the defense. Tom still with it. Declared advantage here. Played wide. Into the box trying to work around. That poked away defensively by Fosvik. And Lone Peak here will have the throw-in on the far line. Kramer tries to play that back with Mason, the sophomore, keeping that in. And miscommunication there. This ball just given away. Fritcher looking ahead here for Hadley. Far run up the far side. Hadley keeping that. He's got help near side on a run from Pearson, but instead into a trio of Knights, and Lone Peak able to win it. Kramer able to deal with the man on there. Plays over to Mason, and the contest there by Memo ends up winning that back for the Vikings. Good challenge there, far side by Carlton, able to take this away. As this ball played up the line, this in play as Stegel retreating for Pleasant Grove. Will drop this back here with Price. Price coming near side, and boy, man on quickly there for Lone Peak. Able to be dealt with by that back line as you see the physicality coming back on the challenge there by Gunther. First half, we saw Gunther very quick to the ball. He certainly has quick bursts of speed. As this ball last touched by PG. Lone Peak here with the throw-in. He's been the guy they've tried to set up a couple of those long runs in that first half. And again, just half yard here, yard there. As off the throw in, that ball won by Pleasant Grove. Vikings maybe with a quick opportunity here is Hadley. Nice job coming back there by Mason, the sophomore. Making another nice play here for the Knights. That tracked down by Moreno, Kyle Moreno. Playing with this Lone Peak defense as Memo was able to come up on that but couldn't hold it. Yagi looking up the field for Gunther, and he was cut off. Nice play there by Jonah Hubert, the senior. Hadley playing back. Pressure coming up here by Xanthos. Good to see him back on the field. Remember, kind of got rolled on in that first half again, and the junior back on the field was looking ahead there for Gunther. That broken up again. I think both back lines have played pretty good today, and both the center backs have been strong to anchor their respective defenses. As speaking of, this one played out by Connor Jackson of Lone Peak. Through 45 minutes. And right now we're searching for the ball. That got caught up in the visiting bleachers there. PG here to throw in. A little bit of space here. Trying to get that with over Hansley. Long shot and gathered off the bounce there by Connor Watkins, who tracked it well. There's the wind. Here comes Gunther. Can he track it down? Look at the closing speed of PG defensively. Gunther kept it in, but know where to go with it, and Price able to gather as Gunther left in the corner. Well, I tell you, that young man, we talk about the speed. How about the speed of, again, I don't know who 36 is. I don't have it on the roster. He's been strong today as well, and we talked about that just a moment ago, but man, he has been flying around, and imagine that speed of Gunther stride for stride to not give the opportunity off the long kick there of Watkins. That ball a yard in front of Xanthos. Allowed Stegel to clear it up. Near side with Lovelady. Colin. Here's Kramer. Lovelady again, and that last touch there by Pearson. Going to throw in up the line. That headed back, sent out by Oberhansley. Hadley able to secure it. Looking up there for Pearson, and Brody just couldn't quite hold that for PG. And I have to apologize. Coach Aguilono told me this back in the first half, was talking about the remainder of the PG schedule. They have Corner at home. That game will be at PG, not at Corner. It's my apologies. That's hashtag bad sources. And he and I talked about that. My bad. Sorry, Coach. This drop back for the Vikings. Handled well. Hadley. And the whistle there. We'll put this in play. Quick to it. Back to Hadley. Hadley looking backside as that will roll through. No, kept in. Well, I didn't know if there was going to be enough real estate for Fossvik there, but he kept it. Here's Oberhansley with it. Long shot. Watkins, you could tell him kind of having to make a late movement on that. Able to secure it. I'm going to still say that 36 is Caden Pennock, the sophomore. I have not seen a 39. It was indicated that 39 plays for, I think that's wrong. We'll try to figure that out. As we'll have the throw in now for Pleasant Grove. Headed back. That deflected out. Lone Peak now with the throw in. Good pressure here by Pleasant Grove, making Lone Peak work. Through 50 minutes. Nice stretch there by Gunther. Xanthos tried to get it back to him, and Xanthos there going to be called on the grab as he prevented Stagel from getting to it. Long ball here, headed up. Lone Peak here trying to work through this PG pressure, and that last touch by the Vikings. Through traffic, Wright having to come out, Watkins, and help there by his defense, able to play that away as Moreno was ready to have the keeper Watkins back on the play. I don't know why I've struggled with Watkins tonight. I keep calling him Wright. And my apologies to Connor. Watkins, they're able to come out and help from Moreno to keep this still a 1-goal difference as PG here with the throw in. In the air, headed up. Oh, and I missed it. PG able to score. And boy, my apologies. I got caught looking elsewhere. And the Vikings able to find the back of the net. And it's 3-1 PG. Memo with his second goal of the night. (3-1) Pleasant Grove. As PG here with the throw in. Now Lone Peak. Gonna have to figure out a way to generate more offense. We wondered if the wind might help. It has not. As we've got a stoppage here, and there'll be a kick coming up here for the Vikings. As Mason here being shown the card. He'll have to come off. Back in play, and this is just wide. Memo with his second goal of the game. This one painted far post, and again, about a 15-yard shot for Memo. Went back and had a look at it. As Lone Peak here will have the throw in, and Coach Mason's group gonna have to try to generate some offense here against a PG defense that just continued to answer the call time after time. Near side with Lovelady. Here's Gunther, able to get around. Gunther playing the ball ahead. Here's Colin. Looking for help, trying to work near side. The center, and that's into the shy netting, shy of the post there. Deflected, and we'll head to the corner here with with Lone Peak. Here's Gunther, giving that back. Lovelady, service, backside. Is that over the heads? And that played wide. Lone Peak here will throw in. Lone Peak still with it. And the challenge there put on by PG's Jacob Stegel. Last to touch it. A corner coming up here for Lone Peak. Couldn't get the good clear. That deflected and now gathered by Price. That ball being batted around back and forth before Taylor Price able to collect it. Another throw in here for Lone Peak. Substitutions for the Knights to come on. Lenhoff coming on. Isaac Reynolds coming on. Had another sub on the far side. Couldn't quite tell that number. As this ball played wide by Pleasant Grove. Nice touch, PG here on an opportunity. Looking for a shot. Excuse me, they were looking for ball through the box there, and looked like Gunther had almost turned to come back to the middle. And that ball intended for him was out in front. Jackson playing back. Watkins keeping this low. PG able to win that momentarily. His team's trading possession here in the midfield. Finally being settled here by Lone Peak. Jackson. And that deflected. Fritcher looking up the line for Carrere. And that ball out and deemed last touch by the Vikings. Approaching the midway point here in half number 2. The ball from Watkins headed up and out. Hubert to throw in here for the Vikings, leading 3-1. Yagi able to step in front of that. Looking to get that back to Xanthos. Challenges here both ways, and Lone Peak able to come away with it as Lenhoff was sticking on and then drawing the challenge there, and a whistle by our center as we'll head to the corner. Xanthos looked like he was trying to get a whistle there as PG was kind of standing right on top of it, and the center deeming that deflected. Corner coming up here for Lone Peak. That wind still blistery right to left on your screen. From the flag, headed out of the box immediately, coming right back. Settled by Lovelady, trying to chip it back in again. No one there for Lone Peak. This ball dying in the air. Knights staying with it. Trying to work around the defensive right. And it's Spencer Wright able to send that ball ahead. PG couldn't stay with it. Lone Peak winning it back, has support. Dropped to Lenhoff. Trying to play ahead with Gunther. Couldn't get a good clear. And now we've got a whistle back on the challenge. PG here will have the kick. And now we've got a yellow card here being given to Hadley. This was away from the play. I'm not quite certain. Even Hadley's a little confused. I'm certain the center had a reasoning, but I think our 4th booking of the night. And Hadley here being sent off. Back in play. We're going to let our clock just hold here, try to catch back up to the game clock. We were late on that stoppage on the card as we are now back in sync. Trying to work through the defense there was Reynolds. PG able to take that away, and now here comes Fosvik. Has support. Fosvik around the defense, the shot and a save made by Watkins. Boy, that's one that keeps Lone Peak in this game. I know a 2-goal match, but boy, they score there. This one's essentially done, and that's maybe the best save of the day there for Connor Watkins. Love the initiative by Fosvik as now Xanthos in the box trying to find some help. None there as PG plays it wide, and Lone Peak here will have the throw in. Xanthos playing that back. Pressure by this Pleasant Grove defense. Here's Reynolds. Isaac playing back with Lenhoff. PG's just been super good today defensively. Gunther there trying to get it. Whistled the challenge by Hubert. Gonna set up the kick here for the Knights. Lovelady will take this from 30 yards out. Curling. And that just played wide. Boy, good attempt. I think it was Yagi that got a foot on it, but couldn't get it on frame. And it will be a kick coming up here for Taylor Price. Into the wind. Remember, Price on the other end was sending that ball 65 yards. This time, dying at 40. It's just the wind has been that strong tonight. Yagi trying to play through the middle. Lone Peak able to capture that, as again you see how aggressive PG is coming up to defend. Reynolds surveying. Xanthos, nice touch, but just couldn't quite get it to Lenhoff. Love the idea there. Broken up by Hubert. Time here for Lone Peak. Should say time on the field, time dwindling on the clock. Gunther trying to stay with that. Couldn't possess it. Shielded off there by Pearson. And Brody able to break it up. Now here's Price. Isaac, man on, coming from behind there by Oberhansley. Price trying to stay with it and defended. We got a PG player down in the middle of the field, and now we'll get the stoppage here to have a look. That looked to be Gavin Fosvik. Just kind of getting back up here. He'll have to come off. Substitution here for Lone Peak. Cole Leroy coming on. Meanwhile, Hadley coming back on there for the injured Fosvik for Pleasant Grove. Fritcher playing ahead. And we're going to get a whistle. Yes, we will here, as Watkins had come out and ends up being tripped up on the challenge there, and he's kind of petitioning, saying, hey, looking for, I believe, some help there from the center, but no card here being shown. Watkins frustrated, and now we're going to have to pull this back a little bit, I believe. No, they'll let him go from there. My apologies. In play. Apologies, we had a little clock issue there, so we're just, again, going to let game clock catch up. We're just a few seconds ahead here. Chipped ahead, over the head of Gunther, and out. In play from Taylor Price. Here comes Lone Peak. Played over Xanthos, man on and taken away by Carrere. And then a whistle here on the challenge by Xanthos, and he's quickly shown a yellow here. Xanthos being booked in the 67th. Pleasant Grove to put this in play. This one given up. Lone Peak, reinforcements running up. Tried to center. That one plucked down. Knight still with it. Service into the box, and just not enough on it. Boy, a great ball, and they're able to get a touch, but just couldn't get velocity behind it, and Price able to get there. Price now will put this in play. Our apologies again is our intern falling asleep tonight with the clock. Our apologies. Back in sync with our game clock as this headed out. It's deflected, and now Carrera with it. Lost out by PG. Gunther. Trying to work around PG. That poked out by Hubert. Leroy just couldn't quite bring that to possession. Lone Peak had the throw in there. Gunther capturing that, dropping back here with Lenhoff. Playing that over. Looking back up the wing here. Nice defense. I think that might be Memo. 2 goals today as he plays that out and did a nice job of shielding it. Cole Memo's had a night to remember for Pleasant Grove. Lone Peak serving, looking for options. Here's Leroy. 3 Viking defenders able to take that away momentarily as Lone Peak back on it. Leroy playing wide. And on that drop, it goes between a pair of Knights. PG with it. Here's Fritcher. Looking up. As Hadley could not get there. Lone Peak within the midfield. And my apologies, they had lost that out. Tough to see that far line from our angle perspective. PG here will throw in. 70 minutes done. 3-1 PG. And now Lone Peak will have the throw in. Talking about the start of region play for the Vikings. Started 1-2 and Coach Ecolono's group looking like they've starting to put it together. As this played out, Lone Peak will throw in. Lone Peak has had more sustained possession in the offensive end here the last 10 minutes or so, but still have not been able to beat this PG defense. They're looking to get that up the field, could not connect, and PG here able to push it ahead over Hansley. Dialing one up for Hadley. This defense getting back. Nice job there by Jackson, and a whistle here coming on the challenge. So it'll be a kick here for PG from 25 yards out. They did stop the clock here momentarily. We were keeping an eye on that very closely. The intern recognizing he's got to make up some grade here. As Oberhansley stepping up to the ball here to put this in play. Wall for PG, or for Lone Peak. About 3 yards inside the box. Over Hansley. 23 yards out, and that's shy of the post. Out of play. Substitution here for PG. Zarin Lucas coming on. Broken up. Played over here. And that Hadley was trying to center. Didn't have help, giving up. Here's Lone Peak. Gunther trying to stick with it. Able to help challenge enough for Luke Lenhoff to be in position to come away with it. Here comes Gunther. Gunther around traffic. Jackson playing wide. Can this ball be kept in? Yes, but could not be. No, it was not kept in. It'll be a kick coming up here for Pleasant Grove. We had clock stoppage there on the substitution, so we'll get this back put in play as sides have been set. That ball headed up. Gunther won't be able to get there on this fast turf. Hard to catch up. A blustery day here at Lone Peak. And with the wind at their back, the Knights have not been able to find the net. Ball chipped ahead. The wind helping to keep that in the middle as Memo trying to possess it far side, and it'll be Lone Peak here to put this in play. I think this might be Oakley, who had just come on for the Knights. And headed back out of play. We'll head to the corner with the Knights. Trying to get this in play quickly with time ticking away here. 75th, this ball high in the air. Off the bounce, can't be kept in, and it's a kick coming up for PG. We've got Memo down here on that far line. Look like they're trying to stretch him out. We'll get stoppage. Here's a try to attend to Cole. He's probably the leading man for our man of the match this evening. Pair of goals. He's played, the full 120-yard field. He's been on both ends tonight. He's been great. That ball, couldn't be possessed. And they say last touch by PG. Boy, I thought Lone Peak actually had an opportunity at it, but They say it was not touched by the Knights. Lone Peak here to throw in. PG is just taking away a lot of space for Lone Peak tonight. Been tough for them to work through that as this ball into the box, gathered there by Price. And a foul there. A whistle on the challenge at midfield. Saw the hands come up. Headed up by Lone Peak. And then sent back from Hubert. Nice work there by Lenhoff, staying with it. Being called there on the challenge was Pearson. As Oakley coming up for the Knights to put this in play. Here's Brighton, just across midfield. Looking top of the box, and that headed out. Lone Peak still on it here. Gunther trying to work around. And Carrere there broke it up initially, kept here by Lone Peak. Lenhoff trying to get to the middle. That taken away by the help of Doxy. And that kick sails high and out of play. Taylor Price. Just the one goal given up today, that coming on a penalty kick. Has had great help in front of him. As Lone Peak here with the throw in. As our 78th minute drawing to a close. Vikings gonna stay within 6 points of first place. They'll need some help, but they've got that match with Corner Canyon at home a week from tonight, and what would go a long way towards helping them claw back to contend for a region championship. Of course, would go a long way for RPI as well. That ball drifting backward in the wind. This one losing ground as well as it's out of play. On the challenge, Lone Peak here to throw in again. No, PG will throw in the center there, saying Lone Peak the last to touch. And a card being shown here on the contest, as a Lone Peak player wasn't a big fan of the call, and he'll come off here with less than a minute to go. PG to throw in. Penalty kicks in the 31st, 33rd. We were tied at 1, and Cole Memo decided to take over this game for Pleasant Grove. A pair of goals for the senior. Some stout defense is going to help Pleasant Grove pull off the road victory as final seconds here ticking away. 3-1. The Vikings with the road win over Lone Peak. As PG improves to 4-2 in region play. I want to thank Lone Peak for hosting us. A great effort tonight by Pleasant Grove, as they just never let Lone Peak get going at all. Our man of the match, Cole Memo, 2 goals, the game winner, and the separator to help lift PG past Lone Peak. For Tino Psyche, my name is Dane Stewart. Thank you for joining us on Game Night Live Rewind's Game of the Week. Presented by Haddam & Associates, brought to you by the Riley Jensen Mental Performance Group. And stick with us as we'll have soccer action for you the rest of the year here on KSLSports.com as we take you up to the state tournament where we'll crown a 22 champion. Tonight, PG defeating Lone Peak 3-1. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night. We'll see you next time here on Game Night Live.